BMW's up front, 24 on pole. You'll see the blue window banner on the 24, red window banner on the 25. Dries Vanthoor behind the wheel of the 24 on pole. His maiden trip here to Long Beach. We are racing, and the run down to turn one begins. Split start, GTD starts behind GTP. Here we go into turn one. Vanthoor with the lead.
Oh, two Penske side by side.
Oh!
Narrowly missed the wall there. It looked like Tandy had to give it up a little bit.
Shows you just how determined these drivers are to win. Tandy, I think, gets the better of it, and the 6 slides back a little bit. We know the 6 wants a victory. They're without one, but how hard do you press your teammates to get it, Calvin?
Yeah, well, that was really tricky there for those two drivers to coexist there through that tricky turn one. It really funnels down there and has allowed Nick Yellerly aboard the 93 Acura, that's the red and white car right in center of the screen there as they go through turn 8 to split the 2 Penske Porsche machines. But Tandy's back on the attack early. Now we see a move here. Looks like Timon Vanderhelm has got around Philippe Albuquerque here as they battle side by side. This is turn 9.
Hats off to Timon. What a great move, and he did it against a very, very experienced driver. He's holding on to that position. Not a lot of experience behind the wheel of the 85, but putting on a great show early on, and that's on cold Michelin tires. It's going to take probably 3 to 4 laps for the Michelin tires to really get good on these GTP cars. Side, and it pushes that bodywork out. I don't know that it came off. Does he get just checked up there and has to move left, or is he trying to set up the over-under pass?
Yeah, I think he's trying to set up, just mistimed it a little bit, just hooked horns there a little bit. So I'm not sure what sort of bodywork damage there is ultimately and how it will affect the performance or the rear end stability of the Acura machine.
Been at Long Beach. He's never done a full championship in the IMSA as we see the 13 into the tire barrier.
That's turn 8. We were talking about this just a moment ago, Calvin, about that corner being a little off camber, a little downhill. It'll be interesting to see if he had GTP traffic to his inside and there was any contact. But buried in that tire wall, and the thing that makes it difficult is not only for Fidani, who's stuck there in the wall, other cars coming by, we a lot of times see other cars get involved because the back end of the car sticking out of that tire wall.
Does anyone roll the dice here and think we'll go full course yellow? We do. Did anyone dive to pit lane? That was going to be my question. Does anyone get to the pit lane entry as the yellows fly before the overall leaders in GTP field get that opportunity?
Take a look and see what happens to Fidani. It's not a GTP car. 78 way down to the inside.
Yeah, and he just washes out wide there. So Misha Goigbert had the move to make, but then he just washes out wide, doesn't get down to the apex, and gives Ori Fidani nowhere to go. These cars are really tricky to get into reverse. Sometimes they get hooked up into that tire bundle. Looks like he's finally got it extricated from that situation, but in the meantime, we've gone full course yellow.
Welcome back to Long Beach under caution, and the window is open for GTP, so they're going to come in, and they don't need a whole lot of energy, so these are driver changes and really quick stops for the 24. Dries Vanthoor gets out, and Philip Hagen gets in, Dave.
In Porsche land, the 7 gave way, Nick Tandy to Felipe Nasser. No tires changed there. As for the sister 6 car, Matthew Jaminet gave way to Matt Campbell. They took on rear tires. When they asked Campbell about Jaminet about the balance of the race car before he hopped out, he said yes, it could stand to have the rears replaced for the end of the show.
Split strategy there for BMW and Acura. They keep the 25 car for BMW out on the racetrack of Sheldon van der Linde. Blomqvist stays out in the 60 machine, but not a great stop in the changeover there for the 24 car. They lost a lot of spots there. You can see them there, 4th in line of the cars we're just looking at, let alone the 2 cars that elected to stay out. So split strategy, but that was not the stop they were looking for.
Yeah, order on the way into the pits for those who came. The 24, the 7, the 93, the 6, and the 31. That was in. Out, the order was 7, 6, 93. Where's the 24? He's back there 4th in the line of the cars that came in. And then the 34 or 31 maintained station at the back of that line of GTP cars that pitted.
The problem for GTD is the minimum drive time is 35 minutes. So if you come in right now, and then when you do another stop, that driver change is going to be the main factor in terms of how long you're on pit lane.
All right, so we talked about split strategy, and now the team cars that did not pit, the 25 for BMW Team RLL and the 60 for Meyer Shank they have decided to come to pit road.
Well, they're saving, they're going to be at a top up now a little bit later. That means they got more energy on board when everyone's completed that first round of pit stop. So if it's that tight, this may put them into the window, as we talked about the other cars maybe having to do a bit of energy save to get to that checkered flag without a splash. Dave?
It only took an incident in GTD to change the complexion of this race. Now, Porsche Penske up front. How often have we said that this year? And it looked like Matty Campbell aboard the 6th, the second car in the shot. Little loose coming around the hairpin on the restart. And Felipe Nasr, your championship point leader in GTP, big jump and a lead down to turn 1.
Yeah, and we're talking about a man here who's very much in the zone. The performances that Felipe Nasr has been putting in all season long have been remarkable. As we now see the 93 car coming down pit lane. We know the car had that damage from the bump with Jaminet a little bit earlier in this race. So this could be strategy. I mean, it just opens up that window to get to the finish and top him off, but you're really losing a ton of track position to do it this late in the sequencing.
Well, my question is, he's got damage. Is he being told he has to repair it, or are they just going to have the opportunity to repair it, Dave?
So when I checked with them a little while ago, they talked about the fact that you really don't want to have to take time to work on it if you don't have to. But now you can see that the rear of the car is coming off. They replaced the entire bodywork versus just replacing that left rear quarter or taping it up. And that will be the chance here to make sure that the car is at its 100% optimum.
Yeah, a bit of a head scratcher there why they didn't do it on the earlier pit stop. Anyway, we'll try and dig deeper into that. Got to try and get going here, otherwise he's going to go a lap down. That's how fast they come around this restart.
Robert Wickens being shown in 9th last time by, getting ready for the stop. Kevin?
Really solid first stint for Robert Wickens in his return to big-time racing in North America, the highest level of sports car racing, and this stop is so critical. Josh Gibbs is out to help Robert Wickens and carry him back to the side. Josh worked with Robbie when he was driving the Brian Herta Autosport Hyundai to a championship and race wins a couple of years ago. He's a physical therapist, has worked with spinal cord patients before, and this is Tommy Milner, a factory Corvette driver, and he is in. They got their time down to 16 seconds. This looked like a good one. They practiced all weekend and keep getting better and better, and they're in the game. Solid return for Robert Wickens here in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship.
I would say solidly in the game. Great shots there by our WeatherTech over-the-wall camera, and Tommy Milner getting the belts adjusted. I still can't figure out how they do it as quickly as they do. You also saw him tilting the wheel a little bit. The wheel doesn't come out. All the hand controls stay there. And Tommy Milner just hits a button, goes to the pedals instead of the hand controls, but the steering wheel stays the same. They are being swarmed. They've got a Corvette, Tommy Milner right behind trying to move forward. Throw in the 120, the Porsche.
Elliott Skier there to the inside. He doesn't want to give this up. This is fantastic stuff. McGuinness is going to feel the heat from Milner, who's into rhythm. He makes the move down to the inside. This is going to be tight coming off.
Skier goes with him, gets the job done, but now he's going to fight back. McGuinness tries to look to the inside, and he's got a handful of cars just behind him as well. The 45, the Lamborghini there.
That's Trent Hinman, and right behind him, you've got Ori Fidani up on the wheel.
Hinman aboard the Lamborghini. They have struggled with that car, mechanical issues in the power plant all weekend long.
That's Shandor for both the yellow and black Ferrari there. Very similar livery to the AWA Corvette. That was fantastic stuff. You got a driver there just trying to get into rhythm. Look at Milner up and over the curb there in turn 4. Skier gets a run on him, and they're side by side through the next couple of corners. Awesome stuff.
And that's where Milner cuts back under the over-under. The street fight continues at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach, and right now it is heating up.
Milner gets around the Aston Martin, almost got around Kenan Cook at the same time. He is up on the wheel. That is Robert Wickens' teammate there. Tries to go around the outside of the hairpin, doing the crossover here. Gets the launch off the hairpin, side-by-side drag rate down Shoreline Drive.
Who got any advantage? Who has any horsepower advantage? Milner moves away, tries to eliminate any side draft that the Mercedes may have. Now they touch.
Wow, that is tough. At 160 miles an hour, the 185 mile an hour GTP cars alongside. They do brush, they bump and ball through turn 1.
I was going to say they bump again, and you throw in a couple of GTP cars. You saw the BMW back out of it. It was just too close for comfort there. Full course caution for the second time at the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. This time, interaction between the 85 GTP entry, the JDC Miller Motorsports Porsche 963, and the 27, the Aston Martin from Heart of Racing.
Well, multi-class racing, you're always going to have moments like this. So Jimmy Bruni there aboard the bright yellow Porsche. It's a late move around the outside there, and there was just not enough room to coexist. So he needed to run a little bit wider arc through there. Not sure the Casper Stevenson aboard the Aston Martin was totally aware he was there. But either way, that's a devastating blow to that team. Had a really strong top 5 run going here today. These tires are hot. They pick up all the little marbles and tire shreds around this racetrack, and you're allowed to go in turn 10, and he's taken off early. Surprised his teammate a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He's kind of jumped out another car link just right there in the get-go, and you see the 24, the first of the BMWs, that blue window banner, Philippine behind the wheel right now. You talk about being comfortable, Calvin. That's kind of an intangible, but it seems to matter so much. I think about Joey Hand, the Ford factory driver, talking about being comfy in the car, and it always seems to pay off. How do you even measure that as you look at the battle here between BMW and Cadillac?
Yes, the 25 down to the inside there of Ricky Taylor. So Marco Wittmann, the German, gets around him there on the run down into the brake zone for turn 1. Yet look at this little battle here. Tommy Milner has now got onto the tail of Robbie Foley aboard the Turner Motorsports BMW. He looks down to the inside. That was late but clean. Robbie gives him the path. They both continue.
And more carbon fiber in the hairpin. We saw that in the very early goings when Jensen Altman aboard his Mustang made a similar move, and then that time just muscling his way through. And Robbie Foley, I think, was saying, hey, I've got to turn the wheel at some point in time. That's when we saw the contact made.
Yeah, Tommy's feeling it, though. That Corvette has really been on rails here this weekend. Great job by DXDT and hooking up this race car. There you can see the move down to the inside. Little bump, just a graze. Another one coming off. There's a dive plane or a piece of rear bodywork coming off. Let's try and see which car this actually came off with. I think it was the second hit.
Yeah, watch
the first bump.
Watch the back of the Corvette, though. The left rear
just hooks the diffuser there as he accelerates off the corner.
And there is the 36. We called it, the damage. Officials calling him in. It's going to have to be fixed. Drama continues here at Long Beach, and we still have just under 17 minutes to go. The challenge he's gotten right now is in front of him with 5 GTD cars.
Well, running like they are around a street circuit with the margins so small, you need to be in that rhythm. And I think if you back off, and there's the classic case of Ayrton Senna when he was going for another win at Monaco, where he did suddenly back off, and he suddenly crashed the race car, and he couldn't believe what he'd done. And I think he was out of his rhythm as we see the traffic there really dicey there down into that brake zone. So I think Nasser needs to stay up on the wheel. And I think his teammate has the pace behind him to make him push hard and stay in the zone.
Well, and this is somewhat what Nasser needed. He now has 3 GTD cars between himself and Matty Campbell. And I think the focus on the traffic in front of you keeps you in the game, doesn't it? I mean, you've got to work to get by these cars. So you got to keep focusing forward. That is exactly what Felipe Nasr is doing right now, looking for 3 in a row. White flag, 1 lap to go for Felipe Nasr. And when you look at the racetrack in front of him, the nearest car is up in turn 3 as he's approaching turn 1. So behind him is the number 6, but you've got to believe at this point in time, Matty Campbell has said, you know what, I don't like it. Bridesmaids again, but we're going to take those second place points. He's not close enough to even attempt the wildest move, and right now you got to think he's just saying, all right, it's a good points day for Porsche Penske. This is how we're going to finish.
What's amazing, Brian, I mean, everyone looked at the BMWs coming in this weekend as they thought, oh, they got to be the car to beat, and certainly in qualifying they were, and then at the start of the race they had the pace and had the track position, but these Porsches have been quicker than the BMW in race trim by a couple of tenths. And that's just unbelievable what they can produce in race time conditions aboard these amazing Porsche prototypes.
Felipe Nasr, the 32-year-old Brazilian, looking for his 14th class win, his 64th start. Nick Tandy, it would be 26 wins in IMSA WeatherTech sports car competition, and it will be those numbers. Nasr, Porsche Penske win at Long Beach. Wow.
Tim Cindric celebrating with Nick Tandy. Nick's just shaking his head. He just can't believe the run they're going on.
And Porsche again, this time in GTD, AO Racing. Lawrence Vantor behind the wheel. He's won for Porsche before, and he does it again, this time at Long Beach. And for Johnny Edgar, think about that 21-year-old sharing a car with Lawrence Vanthoor, and he takes his first victory in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. And he does it here at Long Beach, such a storied facility. You don't think he's excited? Felipe Nasr, #1. Yes, indeed, you are, Dave. I mean, another perfect day for Penske.
Tandy and Nasr and the #7 again. How does domination feel?
Feels incredible, and that's thanks to the team we have, and another amazing weekend. You know, it's hard to put words to say. You know, it's just we're just there working hard, giving everything we have, and it's paying off. And another one too for the team. So incredible day for Porsche Penske Motorsport, and I'm incredible happy to be here in Victory Lane again. This time Long Beach.
And Nick keeps it in the game early. Did you see that save early on in the race?
Incredible, incredible. And I had one as well when I got in the car right on after the pit stop and we went green. I had a moment in, I think in 8, where I just kind of lost the rear and saved it. I'm like, okay, it was tricky out there. You know, it's difficult to keep the car in one line, and then once I found my pace, I just kind of stayed there. But incredible. The car was mega to drive, so thanks to Porsche and Penske, another incredible weekend.
So you have a little time off before Laguna Seca. Do you want to go catch any more peacock bass?
Oh, I would if I if I can fit that. But well, we go testing in Laguna next week. It's non-stop here, and you know, one page at a time. Incredible to put our name in history. You know, we started the championship this way. It's a unique, I mean, a unique moment, I have to say, for everybody on board the program. And we just want to continue this way. There's a long way to go.
Very well done. 3 in a row to start the season. Only the second time it's been done in the modern era. Penske Porsche Motorsports in Victory Lane again.
And that's also a Porsche. And Lawrence Vanthoor is also 3 for 3. Johnny Edgar, who we just talked to, has come in as well. I think your phone is going to start ringing a lot. If you want to win races, get Lawrence Vanthoor in the car. What was this experience like, and what's sort of a one-off?
Yeah, I mean, when they asked me, I love being in Long Beach. I love the car, it's an iconic car, and my daughter was very happy about it. So everything was there to do this race, and yeah, 3 wins in a row. Okay, now in a different car, but then Felipe and Nick as well in GTP car is it's pretty cool. Seems like we keep winning.
And Johnny, you get a chance to learn from one of the great Porsche drivers. What's this experience been like for you this weekend?
Yeah, it's been an amazing opportunity for me to race, and yeah, when I found out I'd be teaming with Lawrence, I was very excited. Obviously, he's had a lot of success in this car and also in the GTP, and yeah, I've just enjoyed the weekend, and I think we came here to win, and it's nice to do it.
Congratulations, Johnny Edgar, Lawrence Vanthoor. Victory Lane here at one of the big ones, Long Beach, and Rexy gets a win in a one-off situation.
No, he did not. And I have a feeling that Nick might be checking in with some very tired kids in the UK.
Yeah, I'm just talking to him. What time is it in the UK now? It must be about 2 o'clock in the morning. He watched the whole thing.
Way early. How's Felix doing? What do you think of Dad's job here today?
He said, awesome job on energy managing by Felipe. Honestly, you know, this is what won the race. Short stop, and then just awesome management, you know, so faultless again. Love it.
And I asked Felipe about the domination aspect. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Felix. There he is. National television. He's never going to live it down, right?
They can't see this bit. That's the problem.
We'll tape it for him. We'll send him a copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this type of domination to start the year, my friend, and it leads toward a championship. You extend your lead on everybody else.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, it's our toughest competition at the moment is the sister car, which is awesome because, you know, if it's not us, then it's going to be them, and then you know, manufacturer points, team points, like you say, the championship coming out of the box with 3. I mean, we've had 3 thirds in qualifying and 3 wins, so we're trying to stick qualifying third, and but it's just ticking over points. It's awesome.
Well done, and great fuel management, Felipe.
So while the 177 wins in GTD, remember, they're not running in the championship. That's normally a pro program. So sort of first in class is Jack Hawksworth and Parker Thompson. You come home second, and the team is 2-3. Ultimately, though, what determined it? You led the opening stint. How did they get the lead during the pit exchange?
Yeah, well, I mean, overall, we had a great weekend. Parker did a great job in quality to get us up front. We looked like we were in great position in the first stint. We obviously got that caution there towards the end of the first stint, and then we just paid a little too early. The guys out there were able to run a couple more laps, clean air, and they were able to overcut us. So, as is kind of the case at Long Beach, you overcut is usually the one that works out. So we just got caught out by that. And then, obviously, there at the end, I tried at the beginning of the race to kind of, stay with him and put some pressure on him. But there at the end, tyres just went off, and that was kind of all she wrote.
And Parker Thompson comes in. Pole, you did your job. You lead all your laps. How'd you feel about the weekend?
As a whole, everybody executed. We always knew coming into this race that fellow competitors that aren't in the full-time championship were going to take risks, and they took their risks. But I look at this as it's a long war. They might have won the fight, but we'll take our points and we'll move on.
They score the most points in class here this weekend at Long Beach.